Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Christel Crawford Show, week 832 episode. I have no idea. But I called this week's episode, The One Thing You Refuse to Choose That Will Make You More Money Than God. In reality, there's probably not just one thing, but I did want to talk about one thing in particular today, and that is question. Let's talk about question. Hi, Kip. Hi, Nydia. Hi, Michael. The one thing you refuse to choose that will make you more money than God. Michael, I like that you call me that. Hey, do you guys like my braid? So I get my hair done again on Wednesday or whenever that is, and so this will all be gone. So anyway, I'm playing. Fuck, guys, let's talk about question. What's the one thing when you are feeling needy and lack and like you have no money? Hi, Jim Bowler. Hi, Sylvia. When you're feeling things about money, what is the one thing that goes out the window? Like absolutely gone out the window? Question. Question disappears. Conclusions jump in. Distractor implants jump in. We start choosing every single fucking thing. Hi, Kinga. Hi, Gitu. Besides question. Hi, Katie. And I just thought I'd talk about that because I have two programs starting this week. One is called Woman, which if you don't want your life to totally change, don't take that class. That is going to be a fucking game-changing 14-week class. I also have another, I think all my classes are game-changing. Another program starting called Questions for Millions. And this is interesting because there hasn't been a lot of signups in this class so far. And I think a lot of people are doing that thing that they do or that are kind of circling it. But one of the things I got is like, this is not a class. Questions for Millions is not a class where we are going to process a lot of your money shit. What we are going to do is we are going to add questions to your life that will begin to generate and create something different for you. And that's why I called this like the one thing you refuse to choose that will make you more money than God, because it's easy to choose a class that like promises you to get you out of your money shit, right? Because you're all convinced, we're all convinced that we have money shit, right? If we didn't have money shit, money would be working for us. But what we're not willing to look at, the reality that we're not willing to look at is we don't actually have a money problem. We have a being, a knowing, perceiving, and receiving problem, which isn't even a problem, it's just a choice. And the one thing we refuse to do when money's not working for us is ask questions. Now, we will say, but I've been asking questions. I've done it. Girls, ladies, men, I have done it. I've done it. I've lied to myself. But a true question begins to generate something different in your world. And I want to do so many things, actually. You guys need to come on the program so that you can fucking get in with me. But there's there's a few I asked you guys to email in your questions. And I will ask you that every week. And if you guys aren't yet subscribed to my show and get this chance to interact with me, you can subscribe. You just go to my website, ChrystelJoyCrawford.com, and you just put your name and your email in, and then you'll get more of a chance to interact with me. You also get a free PDF every month of key clearings from all of my shows throughout that month. It's epic. Katie Kelly puts it together. Don't miss that. So go sign up. But I had a few of you email in about what you're asking for this year with money, and I want to start with that. So one of the ladies that wrote in said, I'm very curious to hear, this is great, I'm very curious to hear what I am not choosing to be able to receive plenty of money with total ease and satisfaction. Does anybody in here like desire more money or more joy or more ease or more glory in their life? Like, is anybody curious why it's not showing up? My two things would be, what questions are you not asking? What could you be asking? And what choices are you not making? And what choices could you be making? So I want to give you an example of some questions I'm asking right now. So I keep these Post-it notes everywhere in my house right now. And right now my kitchen is like a fucking multicolored paradise. And these are some of the questions. Hi, Joe. Hi, Jolette, that was you. I'm very curious to hear what I'm not choosing to be able to receive plenty of money with total ease and satisfaction. That's really cool. And Jolette, the thing that I would say personally to you is, what am I not asking for that I could be asking for that would create more money than God? Guess what, though? That's a question, okay? What am I not asking for that I could be asking for that would create more money than God? Number one. And what am I not choosing that I could be choosing that would create more money than God. Now, why more money than God? Because that's an amount that you can't define, you can't confine, you can't figure out. More money than God. How much money does God have? All the money in the world. Okay, I'll have more than that, right? But that, what am I not asking that if I would ask it would create this? So I had this really funny epiphany last night. You know, I facilitate. We talk about energy. We talk about the universe. When you come have a session with me, I will facilitate you into being empowered to ask and to choose and to receive. That's facilitation, is rendering things easy. So I'm walking around the house last night, and these questions that I still haven't gotten to that I want to share with you are some of the ones that I've been asking. And I was just like reflecting on how much has shown up since I actually started asking these questions. Like really, truly within like 6 to 10 to 12 hours, just different stuff started to show up. And so here was some of the questions I started asking, and this is why we're doing questions for millions, because like when you add another question to your life, more can show up. Here we go. Who or what can contribute to me to make my life easier today? Who and what can I contribute to that would make more for me? Now, for a lot of my life, I made money about doing something different, right? And there is a lot of doing. When you are creating and generating money in your world, there's doing. I'm here to tell you. Being something and doing something go hand in hand. It's not just like you be and you like lay on the couch and wait for money to hit you on the head. No, there's doing and being. But one of the things that I had never considered, and this is what the gift of this question in my world, is that other people would want to contribute to my world to make it easier. You know that question of like, what else? I'm asking these multiple times a day and things are changing. Ah, that's so exciting. Hi, Bert. Hey, Aurelia. I had never considered that there were people in the world that would want to contribute to my life to make it easier. I was busy doing it by myself. How many of you guys are busy doing money and life by yourself? How many of you have decided that you have to do it by yourself? How many of you have decided anything about money? So here's a clearing. All the decisions and judgments, computations, trying to figure things out, and conclusions that you're using to fuck yourself out of money, you keep choosing, will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shirts, boys, and beyonds. Now guess what? That's another question. So how many of these fuckers am I using to fuck myself is a question. Well, goddamn, everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. The one thing we refuse to choose is question. Okay? So when you're in any kind of trauma and drama, and I mean, you know, when you're in any kind of money panic or pain or worry or any of those feelings, right? You are in trauma and drama and you're out of question. You're in some sort of decision, judgment, computation, or conclusion. And I don't know about you, but when I am in that, I am refusing to actually ask something. Guess what asking does? What else is possible here that I haven't considered? It instigates your creativity. It instigates the universe on your behalf. And what else is that is possible can actually show up. Hi, Claire Gowdy. So again, question. The one thing I'm refusing is question, right? So I gave you two questions that I'm using right now. So who or what can contribute to me to make my life easier today? Who and what can I contribute to that would create more for me? Within 6 to 10 hours, people, things, possibilities showed up just like that. Miraculous. Here's another question. What if you created a life that was fun with or without money? So I've been asking myself. So I read this question in a section in the reference materials, which is some of the stuff with Access Consciousness. And I was like, God, what would it be like to create a life? There's another question. What would it be like to create a life that was fun with or without money? And I've just been pondering it. I've just been letting it hang in the air, just going, well, what would it be like? Like, what would I add to my life if my life was fun with or without money? I've decided in some parts that I can only, hi Paula, that I can only have fun if I have money. But what if my life was fun with or without? Like, what would I change? Ooh, it's been so fun. Where money wasn't what provided for you, but you were what provided for you. I loved that. I was like, what if I created a life that was fun with or without money, where money wasn't what provided for me, but I was what provided for me? What would I change? Am I currently being all that I can be for me? Hi, Ashley. Am I willing to provide for me the way I keep demanding money should? which is a projection and expectation and doesn't work. And I realized I wasn't willing to provide for me in that way. So the question became, well, what would it be like to be willing? What if I was willing to provide for me in that way? What would change? All of a sudden, what happens with questions is they create and they generate different awareness and different energies in the world and in your world. And they also create and generate different possible choices you can make. So when you're truly asking a question, it changes the energy. That's how you know there's a question. I'll tell you a quick story of when I wasn't in question. This was really funny, actually. I was in a class with a facilitator, and I was recounting a thing with a partner that I was seeing at the time. And I was trying to get some facilitation around this thing because I was really stuck about it. And so I was telling her the story, and I was like, you know, we were out and we were around all these people, and I was using all the tools. I remember this so vividly. I was using all the tools, you know, how does it get better than this? And what else is possible that I haven't considered? And then I tried to keep going with my story, and she interrupted me, and she was like, what else is possible that I haven't considered? And how does it get better than this? She said to me, she's like, are those questions? And you know how that goes when somebody interrupts your, hey, I had a good story. They interrupt that, and you're like, oh. No. Right there? No, there weren't questions. They were the tool that I was supposed to use to do the thing that was supposed to do the thing, but I wasn't actually asking a question. I was just I was busy being mad, you know? Pretending, I didn't think I was pretending to use the tools so that I felt justified in being mad because the tools were broken that day, you know? And that was one of the first moments where I started to realize the difference between actually being and asking being a question and doing a question. They were really different. And so that's changed my life ever since then. And so a lot of what I do with questions when I get a new one, like here's another one. What do people need, require, or desire that I can provide that I have not been willing to perceive, know, be, and receive? This one is one I'm so excited to play with in our program for at least a week, because some of these questions, you know, I have this free group that if you aren't in it, you just jump in it. It's so good. Hi, Fern. It's called the Awareness Challenge. How aware are you? And we do a new challenge every 2 weeks. And the challenge is we take one question and we play with it 30 times a day out loud for 30 days. And it's changing people's lives. Like, it's so cool. You gotta go get in there. But with a question like this, what do people need, require, or desire that I can provide that I've not been willing to perceive, know, be, and receive? What you do is, well, everything that doesn't allow me to perceive, know, be, and receive it, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So you do that 30 times a day. What starts to uncover is the things, right? Like, what do people need, require, or desire that I can provide that I haven't been willing to perceive, know, be, and receive? So as you're doing that, it's like you shave off the layers of unconsciousness, and all of a sudden you can start to perceive, know, be, and receive what people need, require, and desire that you can provide, right? It's because the only reason money doesn't work in our world is because we aren't willing to be, we're not willing to receive, we're not willing to perceive, and we're not willing to know. That's it. There's the answer. Not willing to be, know, perceive, or receive, then money doesn't work, right? Hi, Lisa. So what adding questions does, and what really playing with them does, is it starts to open up what you already have the capacities for, which is being and knowing and perceiving and receiving. Now, money's not a doing. I mean, you can work a job and get a paycheck, but that's not actually how you get money. You get money by being, and you get money by doing. And people actually pay you for the contribution you are if you're willing to be it. So how much more of a contribution would you have to be willing to be? Like, how much more of you would you have to be willing to be for people to pay you tons of money with ease? Well, fuck, let's play with that question for a week and see what changes, right? And that's the thing about Access Consciousness, is that there are so many questions you can play with and so many tools you can play with. And it's like, how do I know which one? There isn't a right way and there's not a wrong way. What are you asking to change? Questions for millions. So it's like, what if for a year, for 52 weeks, you took one and you let that unravel in your world? Like, what would change in your life if you were able to perceive and know and be and receive what people actually required and needed and desired that you could provide? How much more money would generate in your world? I mean, you can't even come to a conclusion about it because it's just an energy, but it's a great energy. What if you created a life that was fun with or without money? How much more money would generate in your world? If you were having more fun, whether you had more money or not, would more money show up? Yes or no? Yes. Well, let's fucking play with that question. Jesus, we're asking for more money. What if the things we think we have to change aren't the things we think we have to change? Who or what can contribute to me to make my life easier today? Fuck, play with that for a week, see what shows up. Who and what can I contribute to that would make more for me? Play with that for a week and see what shows up. Right? Do you get where I'm going with this? So, if you were willing to suspend money being a problem for a minute, would you have access to more creative capacity with questions and with choices? The more energy that you put into money being a problem, the more money's a problem. It isn't really. You can create it into one, you can come up with all kinds of proof and reasons why it is one, but money itself is just the concept. It's just it's tofu. Money is tofu. Tofu takes on the flavor of anything it's put in contact with. You can put tofu into ginger and garlic, and you can put tofu into sugar, and you can put tofu into fucking soy sauce. You can put tofu into anything, and tofu takes on the flavor and the thing of whatever it's put into. That's money. Money is tofu. So you can, around money, you can create a reality of need and lack, or you can create a reality of question and adventure, or you can create a reality of joy and gratitude, or you can create a reality of, but what most of us do is we make real the reality of worry and lack and stress. That to us is the most real reality. So then in that reality, what gets refused is the thing that will change it, which is question. It's just refused. We just refute it and refreeze it. And many times I just forget. I had a moment this morning where I don't know what I was looking at, but I was looking at something around money, and I discovered a very fixed point of view that I had about, hi Lalita, nice to see you, that I discovered this occurs all the time. I discover fixed points of view all the time, and I was like, I really want this to be true. This is something else I discovered where I'm like, I really like this fixed point of view. I really want to keep it. So I had made something into a have to. I have to do this. Well, anytime you make something into a have to, I have to make more money. I have to do this. I have to go to this class. You make it into a need. And as soon as you make something into a need, you have to resist it. That's how that goes. You make it into a need, you have to resist it. A plus B equals C. And so that's what was happening, is I had made this thing into a have to, so I was resisting the shit out of it, which was crazy because it wasn't generating and creating more in my life. I was just really enjoying resisting. So that's one of the things that you can start to observe as you are adding more question into your world. You'll start to see where you're just doing fixed point of view because you can, and then you got it all in place. You got it hemmed in and like planted in with all the stories around it, you know. Well, I don't deserve it because I was the firstborn and my dad didn't want a girl, or I mean, and I'm making fun only because I'm making fun of myself. I had a story, but it's just a story. So then as you start to hear yourself and you go, okay, well, truly, what else is, how do I get around this? That is another epic question. Not how do I get through this? How do I get over this? You can't get through or over things. You can get around them. So now I've got to go around myself in this particular area with this one have to that I created for myself. I either get to sit there with the have to and resist it and make less money, or I get to go around myself and out-create myself, which all that is like, well, how do I get around me? I'll get an awareness soon. And then I get to have more. And that is how simple this shit is. So, are you willing for money to be simple? Are you willing for your life to be simpler, easier, happier? Are you willing to add the things that don't seem to be the things that will out-create the things? And I did want to address that because in the very beginning, I really had the point of view that you had to pock and pod your way out of a hole in the, you know, I had to pock and pod my way out of the trench I dug, you know. And sometimes when you can't seem to get to choice, pock and podding is I'm a big fan of pock and potting. I run clearing loops all the time, and that's what I mean by pock and potting. And if you guys are new and you have any questions about any of the shit I'm saying, please message me and I'll explain it. But it's not required, actually, to make another choice. And when you look at what you've created with money so far, you can just look at it. I did that this morning. I'm like, well, currently this is what I'm choosing. Is this creating more money in my life? Yes or no? Yes. Oh, it is. Well, that's interesting. Now or in the future? In the future. Okay, so what could I choose to create more money now? Have I put money in the future? Yes. Another great question. Have I put money in the future? Have you put money in the future? Someday you're going to have money. Someday your prince will come and give you money, whatever that is. Fine. Well, everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds, never mind. What would it take to have money now? What would I have to choose or be or do different to have money now? I'm really grateful we're having this conversation because I'm getting a lot out of it at the moment. But these are the conversations I have with myself. I used to have the conversation where I would look at not money coming into my world, and then I would make myself wrong for it, and then we would have a 4 or 5 day or 3 month thing where I was wrong and I had to outcreate the wrong, and now I just skip that part. And now I just look at what's showing up and I'm like, is this working for me? No. I'd like to have more money now. Okay, what would you have to choose or be that's different? It's so much quicker. Now, that may not be where you are. That's totally cool. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view is a great tool, but just adding more question is awesome. And I have really enjoyed playing with one question over and over and over and over because it does something different than just whipping out any old question. Like, so anyway, so I want to invite you. I want to really, really invite you to Questions for Millions because it is, well, you look at it. If it's light in your world, fucking jump in because adding one question a week is so fun and it creates so much. And if you're not going to jump in with us, that's cool. What I would do with this video is, and if you're feeling bored, you may want to jump on the woman class because the whole woman class addresses bored, restless, creation of future, relationships, sex, pretty much everything that we're bored with right now. The woman class is going to address and go, don't choose it. What was I going to say? Anyway, so if you're not choosing either one of those classes, I am still a huge fan of you. And so I would jump into the Awareness Challenge group. If you haven't already, just search it in your Google search bar. That is epic. And or take notes on this video and actually write down some of the questions. Because if you start playing with these questions, they will change something for you. A question always empowers you. And an answer always disempowers you. And so are you empowering yourself? I had to really look at this like 6 or 8 months ago. I was not empowering myself. I was disempowering myself all over the map, trying to find answers and conclusions, and I didn't even know I was doing it. So a question empowers you. Why? Because you, my lady, my liege, are the source of creation. There's no magical money fairy that's going to rain down. You're the source, and as you get congruent with what you're truly asking for, the universe gets behind you, man, and just showers you with stuff. So are you congruent right now with piles of cash flooding into your world? If not, what would it take? What would you have to be willing to choose or be or add to your life? You know, are you congruent with just everything showing up with ease? If not, what would it take? What would you have to do or be or change? Like, what would it take to create yourself as congruent with piles of cash showing up in your world on a daily basis? Fuck, now I'm excited. It's like, yeah, what would that take? But again, that's another question that you can add. Now, if it's a question, if it's an ask, like, yeah, I'll have that, you know? In an actual ask, there's also a choice, the choice to have it and receive it. In an actual ask, there's also the choice to have it and receive it. When I'm finally ready to like play with somebody's body, for example, or have sex with somebody, I'm like, yeah, that, right? Woo, I got a ladybug. So anyway, so as soon as you're actually choosing it, it can show up. As soon as you're actually ready to choose sex, sex shows up. As soon as you're actually ready to choose dinner, dinner shows up. As soon as you're actually ready to choose money, money shows up. So what are you choosing? What could you choose? What questions could you ask? And I would be so grateful if you would share this for me, if you got anything out of this, because one of the things that we are asking for is for these tools to reach thousands and thousands more people, and we can't do that without you. So I adore you. I will see you next week. Happy creating. Come play with us if that's fun for you, and otherwise I will see you later.